Hi, good morning. It is so good to see you right here on Your World. There's so much that is happening today here on the show. Let me wacha niwapatie warning, mkituona kwa full shot, don't be surprised. I promise that we'll be quiet, but we might as well, right? Before we end the show. But it's so good to see you right here on Your World on Relationship Tuesday. My name is Winnie Lubembe. And today, as per usual, we'll be talking about matters of the heart. Mambo ya roho, mambo ya mapenzi, okay? But today we'll be looking at losing your identity in the relationship and the cost that it comes with. But since it is the beginning of the year, we want to, give you insights on how you can actually stop that from happening. Because we've seen a lot of people who have lost themselves, lost their identities in relationships. And sometimes you look back and ask, what happened, okay, to this person? But also, is there some level of good when it comes to losing a bit of yourself, okay, in a relationship, okay? Because even the Bible says two become one. This is a Bishop Uzuri akawapata tuambie, to what level, how then do we balance that we maintain our level of independence but also still remain as one when it comes to a relationship. And we're talking about committed relationships. So maybe you're courting, maybe you are married, but also when you're dating as well. How do you know that you're losing your identity and how do you stop that from happening? So it's going to be an amazing conversation of looking forward to that. And we're saying today, when we erases me, because we've had a lot of people working engaged to a relationship, after coming still the first weeks, they start talking about we. They forget the me, part of it. So when we erases me is what we're looking at, and we're saying the hidden cost of losing yourself in love, okay? And we have a question for you this morning. I really, really like this question, okay? So the question goes, have you ever lost your sense of self in a relationship? Have you ever lost your sense of self in a relationship? I'm sure by now most of us will be like, hey, don't remind me, okay? Because probably we have an experience here or there. But even with that question, there's a friend of mine who actually texted me yesterday night in response to that question. I'm not going to say his name just to protect his identity. Ameandika paragraph, so just allow me to read, okay? So he says, the relationship I had in 2015, 2016 completely reset me. That one is the one that taught me anything that makes me lose myself is not worth it. I could not even make very basic decisions for myself because I was worried she would find issues and we would have a fight. So the day after I left her, I could physically feel clarity creeping back into my head. I could breathe freely without worrying. My back was straighter. Okay, and continues to say, a couple of years later, I met another one who demanded that I stop interacting with women who were not my blood relatives, especially on social media, even the mutual female friends that introduced us. And she wanted to approve my Facebook posts before I posted them. I asked her many times if I or my friends were behaving badly. Akasema no, she just didn't want me talking to women. I ran away very fast. Okay, so do you have a story like that? Do you have an experience like that? Let us know at NTV Kenya across all board is how you can reach us, or use our WhatsApp number 0112 500 400 and tell us, have you ever lost your sense of self in a relationship? And the gang is back. And we're all in black. Na tunaulizana nani alileak memo. Kuna mtu clearly hapa alileak memo. And on my immediate left, very, very familiar face, right here on Your World, is Miriam Mwangi, who is a relationship coach. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Nani alitoa memo? Tunafaa kwanza kuulizana at this point.
It's called synchronicity.
Synchronicity. Yes. We like that. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
How are you? How are you doing?
Good. So good to be here. Love the topic. Today's topic.
Right?
Excited for it.
Let me tell you, mimi nasikia fire, nasikia tingling hapa hivi kwa kucha. And also we have Bishop Grace Muthoni Dalizo, who is not just a bishop but also a marriage counselor. Good to see you. How are you? You look nice, Bishop. Hey, you look very nice.
In black?
In black. We're all men and women in black.
Yes.
Yeah.
I realized black is very powerful.
Right?
Yeah, before I thought it was standing for other things. Maybe your moods were down and what have you.
Yeah.
But I realized it's very powerful.
It's very powerful.
Yeah.
It's very powerful.
It makes you calm.
Yes.
Yes.
Are you feeling calm today? Topic immortal. You're calm. Okay, we like that. And next to Bishop, we have some. We want to pigianga kelele on TikTok. Ukiona tu post yake hivi kwanza unaanza kushtuka nimefanya nini before you interact. But anatuambia kama ukweli sana. Nangami Masaka. She's not a new face to all of us. She's a communication and emotional intelligence specialist. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
You look amazing.
Thank
I like
you.
your t-shirt. What does it say? Born in Africa.
Yes.
Quantum. Tuna quantum leap.
Yes.
In mwaka, sindio?
Yes. It's all about quantum.
Right?
Yes.
And you will tell us about that and why it is important.
I definitely will.
And also next to Nangami is the only boy child in the group today, okay? Na yeye somehow alisema, sawa, mimi nitakuwa tuna like some hint of black somewhere. Mkiangalia tu vizuri hivi, you will see, okay? We have Kagondo Jr., who is a counseling psychologist. Good to see you.
Happy to see
New
you.
Year. I have not seen you this year. So now.
Huu mwaka tujana.
Yeah, karibu sana. The last time you were here tulikuwa na material. Leo umekuja na nini?
Sasa ka black kako.
Iko hapo. Good to see you. Good to see you, Kagondo. And even before we start the conversation, Nangami, probably to start with you, identity. Because majority of the times we're like, yeah, me, I know myself, you know, and then we get into relationships when you realize, hiya, I literally don't know myself at all.
Yes.
So can we start with just that before we even think about love, before we think about relationships?
Right.
Identity. Why is it so important? And first of all, what is it? When we say, I have lost my identity or I have not lost my identity, can we just understand this identity part?
Oh, wow. That's a very incredible question because identity is all about who are you to you?
Okay.
Who are you? What do you say you are? Because most people talk about what they do, where they come from, what they're about, but what their story has been, but they don't know who they are. Because that's it's a really incredible conversation because from even what we're discussing today, people don't have a relationship with themselves. Because you need to have a good relationship with yourself because you can only know your identity if you've built that relationship with yourself. And identity is not about the titles. It's not about the status, it's not about the money. Identity is who are you at the core. Identity is about your sovereignty. It's about your internal power because most of the time people get power from external sources, which is what you seek validation from the relationships. What do people say about you? What do people call you? That is not identity. Identity is who are you at the core. And that's a conversation that only you can go and find it. And be very honest. Be very honest with yourself because this goes down now to your value systems. What do you value? What do you believe about yourself? What do you believe about others? Even your purpose here. Why are you here? Why are you here on this planet? Is this just because it was, you know, some two people who fell in love and then, wow,
I am here.
now you're here. and you don't know the reason as to why you're here. And I think that's also then leads to the story, to the question of what's my purpose and the rest of it. But also understanding who you are, identity. Not only, you see, most of the time we come from a place of victimhood where we are always like, I don't like how Bishop makes me feel, so I'm going to cut her off. But we don't get to see how do I make others feel. Because we don't have that conversation of how do I make other people feel. So it's always like, oh, don't deal with people. People are bad. Don't tell people things. But you, when we tell you things, when people are around you, how do they feel? Yes. And that's all about identity. And going within. And just to buttress on it is we're supposed to have different types of relationships, right? In life, because the only thing that we have been exalting a lot is romantic relationships. But in life generally, even from an African perspective, because I'm here to represent Africa.
Born in Africa.
In an African perspective, we had more relationships with aunties, with parents, with the community, with children, with everything around us. So even as we go on with the conversation about relationships, usually is people get lost in the romantic relationship because it's the only relationship
that we sort of we see and we have. Interesting that you say that. And also talking about other relationships would also at some point probably in the conversation understand how this other types of relationships also influence us and how we show up in a romantic setup, so to speak. But even when you say most people don't know who they are at the core, remember what you said last week, that 90% of the people are asleep because we don't
90% of people are asleep.
We don't know who we are.
And by asleep, I mean they're not aware. What she's talked about right now is all about awareness, self-awareness. You know, you remember last week me saying towards the end of December, I was feeling someone would speak something to me and I would feel slighted or I would feel rejected. I had to go within myself and ask myself, why did I feel like that? It's not even about the other person. Like Nangami has said, it's about you. How do you come across to people? How how is it that this person is affecting you? And if they are affecting you, maybe what they've said is not a big deal to someone else, but it was a big deal to you.
Yeah.
Why? Because there is something in you that is reacting to what they're saying. And let me just add on to what Nangami has said. In fact, she's explained it so beautifully. I was just like, oh, I want to hug her. It was so perfect. If you're not, in fact, what I want to challenge is very, very, very few people. Let me even put it out there and just say maybe 5% have an identity or are aware of their identity. Yes, because if, like an onion, you know, you might say the onion is what you're looking at, the outer peel, the inner layer, but you know, there are so many layers into the onion, and the more you peel it, the more it gets purer and whiter and cleaner inside. Even for us, it's the same way. If you were to be peeled of all the titles you have, the title of a sister, the title of a mother, the title of an auntie, the title of a partner, spouse, or whatever, what are you left with?
And that's one of the most, like, the hardest. I don't know whether it's still in the same setup that we had that conversation sometime last year, where it's the most difficult thing to sit and ask, but who exactly am I, without all these titles and whatnot?
Yes.
But Bishop, the Bible says, before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you.
I knew you.
Then how is it that we don't know ourselves and yet we were known before we were formed?
I want to say something. Thank you so much, Winnie. I want to say something about identity. For us who are Christians, our identity is found in Christ. We look ourselves through the image of Christ, because it says he has formed us in his own very image, both male and female. And therefore, our identity is found so much. Anytime I want to find myself, because there are so many things that fight to erode my identity, because other people's opinion, I want to be like so-and-so, you want to be like the other person, maybe you want to be like the teacher who taught you, your nanny who brought you up. Many times, as a Christian, we find ourselves in who Christ says we are. Who is me? I find my identity hidden in him. And once you have that identity hidden in him, then you will love. You'll not be jealous. You'll not be envious. You'll not strive with anybody. You'll try to make yourself better every day. Grow yourself so that you can relate with everyone else. And I like what she has said. Relationship is not just the romantic bit of it. Even the platonic, even the relationships you have with your family members, they are all to be looked at. And you make sure you don't lose yourself. You don't lose your identity because of who is around you. Because sometimes your values will be eroded because maybe you are falling in love with somebody and you feel you want to be like them. You know, your opinions don't matter anymore. You know, everything. You even isolate from the social community, the relatives you have. You want to be with this person, be like them until nothing matters about you again.
You know what, it's interesting because I came across a video, I think on a Sunday, where this lady was complaining how her best friend of like 4 years left her for, like, they broke the relationship they had because of a man. And most of the time we see that. And I just wanted to ask, is it just as women that we lose our identity? You guys, you know, at some point lose yourselves. But even before we answer that, so we talked about the different types of relationship, not just the romantic aspect of it, but I'm curious in terms of our upbringing, our environment. Does that sort of, not manipulate, but influence, change our identity, maybe impact our identity at some point? Because when you see a young child, you know, growing up, they're very confident, they're very clear on what they want and what not. And then somewhere along the line, something just happens and they completely lose it. So the foundation part of it and how we need to remember that even when we're getting into romantic relationships.
Pretty nice. And maybe to start off, do men, you know, lose their identity? And most of us out there are really struggling. More so with revealing who we are and of course bringing out the best in us. Because along the way we tend to lose ourselves in the name of trying to become one. More so a family man, the one maybe in this particular relationship. And of course the way that we present ourselves to the people around us. And looking at it, from the onset, and especially when we are brought up as children, that's a very critical and very important space to be in, because that will shape us in different ways. And when I look at that, I'm reminded of the attachment, how I relate to my mother, my father, my siblings, and out of it, you may find somebody who gets to acquire the different types of the attachment styles, whether it could be the anxious, talk about the insecure, or the very secure. And this would be as a result of how we relate and how we are molded, how the support that we get, especially from those who are close to us and those who mean a lot, in our lives. And this is why you find that most of the people, when they were young, they were these authentic, human beings, but along the way, they tend to lose the touch. And this could be even because of the authenticity that comes with the attachment styles. Because the moment that, as a child, I don't feel safe with a significant other, you might find that somebody, in a way, they're not able to bring out the best in them. Why? Because there's that element of fear of being ridiculed, talk about being judged, being punished, or even being bashed. And remember, most of the young fellas saying that, whenever I interact with my daddy, I feel kind of smaller, because there's a way that they'll bring you down, okay? And they'll make you feel. Whenever I'm with my mom, there are certain words that they say unto me, there's a way that they approach me, there's a way that they, and all these usually shape the way that we are at the end of the day. And this could be the reason why you find that as adults, our personality, change along the way, because the way that we are brought up really signifies the kind of a person that you turn out to be. And during the sessions, the people who come to me for sessions for the support and all that, it's quite intriguing to find that, the couples, a lot has to do with their childhood, the way that they relate with each other. People in a relationship, if let's say my spouse, there's a way that they want to bring out a certain point or even argue out a certain case. You find that if I'm not really secure in terms of how I was attached as a child, in a way I may tend to be defensive. There is a way that I also tend to, try to be combative in a way of trying to protect myself. And this, in all sense, does affect how we are, and especially as adults. So yes, the childhood affects how we become, and the personality that we acquire along the way. And no wonder you find that our relationships are shaped in different ways based on how our childhood was.
Interesting. Nengobe, do you feel, I know we have 2 minutes to go on a break, so probably this might not be enough, but hey, do you feel that sometimes we show up differently in different relationships? Say, for example, in a romantic setup, maybe I want to show up as Mimi wife material. I am that perfect. Whatever you need, I will, And then when it comes to, like, say, relationship with my siblings, I show up in a different way, because there's a different way that we relate. With my parents, the same. With my best friends, say, the same, and even in our career. Like, do we show up differently in this relationship that some way impact who we are in a romantic setting?
Yes, we do, because by and large, human beings are very transactional.
Okay.
So it depends with the kind of relationship you are and what you seem to gain from it. So in romantic relationships, obviously we perform because subconsciously we want to be picked. You want the other person to think that they are perfect. Sometimes we are competing against their ex who's not even aware that we exist. So you somehow want to be better than his ex-girlfriend, and you did your research and you're like, oh, the ex-girlfriend was this, so I want to be this. Or I want to prove that I'm better than, or the ex-boyfriend was this, I want to prove that I'm better than. And then there are certain relationships are like, I can be who I am. The cost is zero because you have to deal with me. You see, with family, they just have to deal with you and your stuff. They can't deny you. They can't, they have to deal with you.
You have to.
You're not proving anything to family. They've known you ever since. And even at the workspace, then we behave differently because obviously someone else has a discretion over pay, so we have to be on our best behavior. So we tend to perhaps even be more submissive at work than we are at home because there's a lot to prove, there's a lot at stake. So yeah, it depends on the kind of relationship that we are putting ourselves into, because we are very transactional. Human beings most of the time are incapable of having unconditional love. Loving itself is the way it is. We put conditions to it. I can't, no matter how much money he has, no matter how good he is, If he doesn't give me my side of the bargain, yes, because I'm expecting that if I perform, if I'm a good wife, if I'm a good girlfriend, if I'm whatever, and then he's not giving me fidelity, because that's what I'm expecting in the transaction.
Return, yes.
Be attentive, caring, emotionally available.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what he has going on. If he doesn't meet the end of the bargain with all the good stuff that he has, there's a condition put to it. And usually I laugh when people say, oh, men don't love unconditionally, women don't love unconditionally. Nobody loves unconditionally. We put conditions to things. It's impossible for human beings.
I'm looking at Bishop. What you have to say. But when do you want a break? Do you want to say it now, or should we take a break? Tupumzike kwanza, alafu we come back. Because I know Bishop always talks about we need to love each other unconditionally. So, how possible is that? We'll come back from the break and address that. But also when we're looking at the conversation today, and that is when we erases me. How do you even know that you're losing yourself in a relationship, and how do you come back to self? Okay, and first of all, how do we even stop that from happening? So there's so much to come on the other side of the break. And I also asked, is there some level where it is okay to lose some sense of self, okay, in a relationship? Is it okay? We'll find out from the break. But remember, the question that we're asking you this morning is very simple, and that is, have you ever lost your sense of self in a relationship? Have you ever lost your sense of self in a relationship? Is what we want to find out this morning. We'll go through your feedback after the break. Just stay with us. All right, welcome back, welcome back. 33 minutes past the hour. The conversation today is on We Erases Me, and we're looking at the cost of losing your identity in love. And I am really sure majority of us have experienced this, where you've lost your sense of self. And sometimes when you get yourself out of that situation, you sit back and you ask yourself, by the way, what was that? Or who was that person? Because that was not me, okay? So the question that we're asking you this morning is, have you ever lost your sense of self in a relationship? Have you ever lost your sense of self in a relationship? Is what we want to find out this morning from you at NTV Kenya. Across all board is how you can reach us, and tag me as well at Lubembe_Winnie. So, we are incapable of loving unconditionally, okay? Na Bishop ako hapa. Bishop anatuambiaga, you should love unconditionally. Sasa Bishop, tuko happy. We're human beings. Tuko na conditions, transactions ziko hapa, but then again, we're supposed to love unconditionally.
Thank you so much, Winnie. I want to say that love comes in phases. At the talking stage, you don't need to lose yourself.
Okay.
You have to put conditions the way our dear Nangabo has said. Put conditions.
Okay.
Find out what is the person bringing, what are you also offering. But as you go on from the talking stage into courtship, or let's say dating or courtship, then you begin to see what is it that is in this person that I really love.
Okay.
You don't need to put those conditions, because it's not everything that you love about them, but there is that bit that the Bible tells us we have to give and give and give.
Okay.
That is where the unconditional love comes in. Okay. The person may not be giving back exactly what you're giving, but you can give because there's something in him or her that you have seen that you feel you can move along with the person. When you get into marriage, you are allowed to go all full throttle.
Okay.
And that's what the Bible tells us in Genesis 2:24, that a man, in fact, the person that is supposed to really love unconditionally is the man.
The man.
Because he leaves the father, he leaves the father and leaves the mother for you.
Okay.
So that you become one flesh.
Okay.
Once you become one flesh, honestly, there is no conditions that Nangabo was saying, that I have to put conditions. What are you putting conditions about? And you become one. The other one may be weaker than you. You may be stronger than them. But because of this love, the unconditional love, you go all, you give yourself totally.
Okay.
And I feel that is a Christian way of love.
Okay.
Ephesians 5:31 also tells us that this man shall leave his father, meaning he loses his identity in that sense of living so that he becomes one with you.
All right.
Then when he becomes one with you, you allow him to give you an identity in a way. Because the name that you take
Yeah.
I'm Dalizu, not
Yes.
because my father is Dalizu. My father is Njenga. I took his identity because I loved him unconditionally. Didn't matter he was shorter or he was taller or he was a person that provided everything. He was a good provider. The moment we became one, the unconditional love reigned. You know, and therefore I took his name, and now I'm Mrs. Dalizu, as opposed to Grace Njenga, meaning my identity is being eroded, and his opinions more than often tend to reign, although we discuss a lot. But 70% you find that is the person who came and joined you. And in the African setup, I think, and by biblical setup, the man is supreme. In this sense, he gives you the identity. He tells you what to do sometimes. Like now, before I came here, he had to pray for me and allow me to come.
That's beautiful.
But when he's leaving, he doesn't ask for permission from me. So that tells you whether we like it or not. We lose our identity. The women lose their identity more often than not. It is eroded. Your opinion really sometimes don't matter. He will tell you, I'm the man
of the home.
I'm the one to tell you. I'm the one to tell you how we are raising our children. So you lose your identity. But because of this unconditional love, you still stay. And I've been there for almost 30 years.
Look at that.
So you can imagine how much of my
yourself has
identity has been, and it has been taken.
You
honestly.
know what? I was actually going to ask you guys, because we were sitting here talking about, when me erases me and
you know, let me say something before. The modern woman, and I love the modern women that we have. They tend to feel they will go into marriage with their identity, stay with their identity, never lose their identity or their opinion. But I want to say the reality on the ground is different. What we know as reality, what can we say? The truth and the reality is different. So once you get there, sometimes you're told even how to, how you should name the children.
Or even how you should dress.
We have how you dress. Yes. We are going out. You can't be in your jeans. That place where we are going change. So you lose your identity. Your opinion sometimes doesn't matter. And you have to learn submission. And that's where I was going. The unconditional love also for a woman comes with submission. Total submission. Sometimes you go to their place more than you go to your place. Sometimes you have to ask him, please send money to my mom. You know? So your identity has been eroded.
And that is why I was asking, sometimes is it okay to lose the
There's nothing wrong with that. Am I complaining?
Identity?
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that.
I am absolutely happy. Miriam, I also want to hear what you have to say in terms of just based on that. And also when you're talking about marriages, Bishop, because we've seen a lot of people in toxic marriages, but they can't live because the Bible says two shall become one. So then in that sense, how do you balance? But hey, is there some level of good in losing some bit of your identity? Or how do I even know that I am losing my identity?
Before I go to answer what Bishop has just said and the question you've asked, I want to ask to throw spanner in the works. Did we ever have our identity in the first place? Was there something to lose? Was there something to lose? The reason I'm asking that is, and I'll touch on what Bishop has said. I want to go back to what Kagondu said. He said something so pertinent that because you asked him, does our foundation affect who we are? And I started the question by asking, before I formed you in the womb, I knew who you are. You know, what we were made for. And that's the mandate we come with. Who God knew we were. The purpose He's put in us, the destiny He's put in us. We come with all that. Because, and Bishop can correct us, when God created, He did not create from the beginning. He created from the end to the beginning. So He already knows our end. Our end is already there. And that's why He says, I knew you. Right? But then now when we come to our parents, we've come in a clean slate. And our parents are dear people. That's why we talk about generational traumas, generational curses. So that's what they are. Our parents had their way of growing up. Traumas were put in them. And by the way, trauma is not what happens to you. It's not the action. It's the wound that it causes. How you're internalizing what is happening to you. That's what causes traumas. So those traumas, the way they grew up, they now come and bring us up the same way. Remember, you have come on a clean slate. You have come just you. You know, when a child feels like pooping, they poop. When they feel like peeing, they pee. When they feel they're unhappy, they throw their tantrums. And you'll hear a parent telling a child, "Wacha utoto." But what else can they do?
They are kids.
They are a child. Akona utoto, that's their nature. So the child is malleable when they are coming. So they are shaped to take the shape of the parent, not to take their own shape. And a child is born with their own shape. But because of the parents who are bringing them up, they are, you know, they're like a plasticine in the hands of, or clay in the hands of a potter. They're just being molded and molded. Now, what that molding does is take away something that Kagondu brought up, your authenticity, the real you. The real you is your authentic you. You know, whereby you're unhappy and you say it. If you notice children between the ages of 2 and 5, it is very easy for them to say no. You tell them, go brush your teeth. No, that's the first thing. Then you beat the hell out of them to take the no out of them. As you're doing that, you're taking out the authenticity. Because the authentic self felt, I'm doing something. You can't see I'm doing something. And then you're trying to disrupt me from what I'm doing to go do what you want me to do. So no, I don't feel good doing it. And their body just, you know, it just refuses. But we beat them and panel beat them into being those people. So that's the question is, what identity have you lost when you have gone into a relationship? Because this is what happens. Our fake identities, I think it was Nangami who said it, we take on different identities depending on who we are interacting with, depending with who we can be most authentic with. Depending with who we can be most authentic with. At home, you're fully, to the most part, you're fully authentic, depending on who you feel comfortable with. There you can throw your tantrums. In fact, your family are the only ones who probably know your true you. Because uko inje, like I said last time, people are like, but she's so calm, but she's so, and then your mother is just sitting there thinking,
wondering who?
Sasa, huyu nalinibangia mlango, just 30, like who are they talking about? You know, like inampita too. Because at home you're authentic. You felt anger, you're able to release the anger. You're able to react according to how you are feeling authentically.
At that point.
Walk into a relationship. Now, this is where the attachment styles come in. Because when a child comes into earth, the most important thing is attachment and their authenticity. They go together. And by attachment, what it means is, I want to feel love, I want to feel accepted, I want to feel taken care of and safe and secure. And then now, depending on how that attachment goes, you're more authentic about who you are. So now when you come into relationships, attachment styles are what matters depending on whether you're going to lose yourself completely or not. You know? So,
And you know what? I'm actually, my brain is on overdrive now because now I'm thinking, so does it mean that then majority of us go into relationships not even knowing who we are because we think the identity that sort of like the society or how we were brought up has made us believe that is who we are. We walk into that in relationships and then that ends up causing problems because we're not our authentic selves.
I think by and large, even with what Bishop has said, and I think it is also Kagondu who alluded to it in the beginning, that 5% I think of people are going to be aware.
Miriam,
Yes, it's Miriam. 5% of people are going to be self-aware. So, you see, the thing is, the ideas are lofty. You see, they're very lofty, they're very theoretical, very good to talk about. But in real life, in the day-to-day, not so much, not so much. And I think even with what Bishop alluded to, unconditional love, I think it's very few people who are able to achieve 30 years. Nowadays, people are doing 6 months, 2 years,
even 3 months,
even weeks. People are doing weeks.
What does about weeks? 24 hours. Right? We've heard the story. Someone was married Leo. Tomorrow they're divorced.
They're
So
divorced.
it's-
Yes. So I think that goes into doing what most people don't want to do and perhaps will never do, which is the inner work.
Yes.
I think also it is Miriam who asked a very pertinent question is, if that identity is there, then there is nothing then to lose. You don't have to lose the identity. You only perhaps compromise on a few things, but the identity is intact because the identity is you. Otherwise, after some time, it breeds a lot of resentment for the person, and that is why part of women who then grow up, not grow up, but when they grow older, they have autoimmune diseases because of the stresses that came with the performance and losing themselves. You didn't pick up a career that you wanted, you didn't go abroad because you wanted to, and that sort of thing. And I think Bishop has incredible grace. She needs to share tips on how she's been able to do that. But I'm thinking also because perhaps with the partner, they're at the same level, because that's another problem, that sometimes with the partner, we are incompatible, we are unequally yoked, so everything just doesn't work, and then we have to look at people like Kina Bishop and like,
tips. Okay, can go on to say something and then we'll come to you, Miriam. Okay,
yes, quite some interesting pointers right there. And I love the fact that we all appreciate the importance of us being authentic, and especially when we get into relationships. And that reminds me of the different encounters that I've had with those who've been able to, who are going through the transition. Say a loved one, maybe their spouse has passed on, or maybe they've gone through the divorce. And the danger to it is when we don't have a true identity to start with. Because when we are compromised along the way, when we lose our career identity, talk about the gift and the talents that we had for the sake of, you know, being unconditional to this other person, I feel it could also pose some sort of danger, you know, especially to somebody who is not able to hold on and reveal their true self. And this is why I say that in a relationship, yes, it's good for me to lose myself for the sake of the relationship and for the sake of the other person, my partner, but it's equally important for you to be whole, because most of the times we find that we are not, you know, holistic, or we are not whole. We bring on the table, say, 40%, and you expect the other person to feel you, and this is why we tend to get the identity from the other person. Then once we lose them along the way, it could be through divorce, it could be through death, then we are lost. And I've seen most of the people out there saying, I no longer know who I am, you know, with this particular person.
Die
you know,
without
I was trying with this person.
And it sounds sweet at that point,
yes,
right?
but it is equally dangerous, because I've seen most of the people, and like you're saying, the conditions that we emerge, that they will manifest later on in life, it could be as a result of the loss that you have gone through along the way. So it's true that you work on you, and it is very important for you to attain your true identity as much as, yes, you're in a relationship.
I see that. Miriam, you had something to say.
God, even my mind has gone blank. Anyway. So yeah, what I wanted to say is this. What Bishop talked about definitely works when you don't have a punitive partner. So let me just put it out there. Genesis 2, where, you know, 2 all the way up to 3, where God looks at the man and realizes it, he actually says it himself. It is not good for man to be alone. I will create him a helper exactly like him. God had created everything else, animals. He looks and he's like, okay, he's still out of sorts with these guys. Let me bring someone who's like him. Now, I've said it here before. The word used for the woman in that context in Hebrew is ezer, meaning helper. That word is used, let me try and be philosophical. That word is used in the Bible 21 times. 2 times to refer to the woman, 3 times to refer to superior help that was to come and help Israel, and 16 times to refer to God himself.
All right.
So that's the name that was used for the helper, the woman. All right? Now, when God brings in the woman to the man, he gives them a mandate together. Remember, he had not given this man the mandate before until the woman comes. He tells them, go ye multiply,
Fill the air.
fill the earth, and dominate.
Okay.
The two of them.
Okay.
Dominate over creation, dominate over what is created, not to dominate over the other. Right? Okay? But comes in original sin, and that's where now God says, woman, you will yearn for man's, whatever, man's, his countenance, you'll keep yearning for him. So that's where now domination came in, because of the original sin. But man was never supposed to dominate over the woman. But what, if you look, Bishop talked very well about submission. Submission is beautiful if it's done the right way. The man is supposed to lead by love. And that's why in Ephesians 5 that she talked about, it first gives the man the mandate. Husband, love your wives as Christ loves the church. Then he says, women, submit. Right?
Yeah.
Those are mandates that were given. Why? First of all, because it's not easy. It does not come naturally for a man to love.
Oh, okay. Really?
Yes, that's why he had to be told. He loves because of the respect he gets.
Yeah.
Submission. Now, it's also not automatic for a woman to submit.
Yeah.
We submit because of the love we get. Are you seeing kizungumkuti hapo? So it's a cycle.
Yeah.
I give him respect, and then he pours his love on me.
Yes.
But you pour your love on me, I give you respect. So which comes first? It's the issue of the egg and the chicken. Which came first? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but anyway, to go to what Bishop was saying, because I was itching to say this. She said, you kind of like, and it's beautiful. Most of the time, it's the woman who ends up losing her identity. Most of the time.
Yeah.
And by identity, we don't mean your original self. We probably mean what Nangami was talking about, your values, your aspirations, your dreams. But I wanted to bring this issue out. When you have, let me use the juice that we used to use to kitambo kwencha. You put it in a bottle, right? I mean, you put it in a glass, and then you add water. The water everything becomes orange if the kwencha was orange, isn't it?
Yeah.
But if you go to the lab and check their chemicals, the molecules, the juice retains its molecules.
It is not.
Its original state.
Okay.
The water also retains its molecular structure.
Okay.
It doesn't change. What does that say? You can intermingle.
Without necessarily.
You can become one.
Yeah.
Without completely losing your molecular structure. Because when God put you into this world, he had a mandate for you as Winnie. There is something that only Winnie could do. There's a mandate that only Winnie could fulfill. You had a destiny, he had a destiny. Yes, you've come together to help each other in realizing your purposes. But don't forget that your originality and your identity, the things that you do as Winnie, only Winnie can do them. The impact you have on people as Winnie, only Winnie can have that impact. So when you lose yourself and stop becoming yourself, guess what? You've left a gap.
And you know what, would want to understand, that is very beautiful. A lot of physics, watu wa chem, wenye wako wanapenda chemistry, you know, hapo katikati. But it makes a lot of sense, what you're saying. Yeah. But Bishop, even when you talk about submission, and now we're seeing a lot of women who's like, me, I am not going to submit. And sometimes we even ask ourselves, you know, sometimes with my friends, that you get into this relationship, to how much is it okay to allow yourself to lose, you know, part of your identity? So please speak on submission, and the submission the right way, because we've also seen some people who have abused the word submission. Right? Yeah.
What she has said is very beautiful, that you don't need to lose your structure in order to be submissive or for the other person to love you. What I would want to say is, once you get into a relationship, and this in this matter, I'm not talking about the dating or that one that you are attracted to one another, then you know, where you are infatuated towards somebody. I'm talking about the marriage setup.
Yeah.
What happens is that once you get into that relationship, each one of you respectfully realizes that this person is good at this and the other one is good at that.
Okay.
You'll find that one may be very good at, let's say, planning for the finances, and the other one is very good at spending the finances. So in this relationship, there are things that we look at. There is something we do, a SWOT, or what You know, there's a study of one another, slowly, without telling one another. Yes, the love is there from the man, and I'm submissive as the wife. But there's what I can do, and there's what he can do.
Okay.
The moment you give into each other, or you give yourselves into each other, or to each other, you find that you are allowed to do this, and I'm allowed to do this, but you're still under me as your husband. And that is what happens. Like, let's say, a typical example, I'm very good in development of family, you know, we are going to do this. The other person is very good in hoarding.
Okay.
You know, he's very good in hoarding of finances until it's the right time. So I have to come to him and present my plan. This is what we want to do for the family. What do you think? And he says, this is not the right time because there are no monies coming in. And therefore, you have to wait. What do I do as a wife? I submit to that authority. That is not the right time. Although you have come with a good plan, when it is right, I will release the funds. So it doesn't change me as a developer, and it doesn't change him as a planner because of, you know, this love. But we agree at a given point, this is what we should do.
Alignment.
What I want to say, when a relationship has that unconditional love, you find that it is very easy to plan, it's very easy to progress, it's very easy to raise the children. And so long as one person is also submitting, because the two of you cannot be there. You know, with your structure, the structure, the molecule structure, the chemistry that you are given by Miriam. I like it.
Professor
but
Miriam.
all of you cannot be leaders. One person, like now, we are here. We can't be all moderators. Winnie is moderating and we are speaking. But if I was moderating, you are moderating, there would be chaos.
It would be chaos.
So in a family setup, there must be that. And that is only possible if one person is willing to listen. As the other person gives the direction.
I see.
And that is possible in a marriage whereby you understand your position as a woman, because the Bible gives us the position that you're supposed to listen to him. He's supposed to give the leadership. But it doesn't mean me and my development you know,
ideas and skills.
I bury them. No, I'm not. I don't bury anything about me. I remain.
Tushikilia for 20 break, and then when we come back, we'll pick from there, Bishop. I know, not doing makeup because wananichekesha hapa. Okay, but like we said, majority of the times it's the women who lose their identity, and I know a lot of people struggle to understand, how do I know that I am losing my identity? Can we pick up from there when we come back from the break? And also going to, for the men who lose their identity as well, how do they know that they are losing it? And also we're asking you this morning, have you ever lost your sense of self in a relationship? Okay, when we come back from the break, we'll pick, you know, and read more of your comments, because hey, Faith anasema right now, and I'm even asking myself a million questions. So that is what they said, okay? So we'll come back and read more of your feedback after the break. Just stay with us. Okay, welcome back to the show. Huku nyuma mnafaa kusikia hizi conversations zinaendelea hapa during the break, okay? But it's so good to have you still with us right here on Your World. Today we're talking about when we erases me, and we're looking at the cost of losing your identity in love. And we're asking, do you even know your identity? Miriam ametuliza swali lingine hapa, mimi hata bado nafikiria saa hii, your identity. Do we even have it in the first place for it to be lost, okay? Like, in essence, do you even know who you are before we even think about losing our identities when we're getting into relationships? And to what level, you know, it's sometimes losing a bit of your identity good and healthy in a relationship. Bishop ametuambia hapa, 30 years of marriage, parts of her have been eroded, but she is happy. But then again, we've seen other people who completely have lost their identity, that don't even know who they are. So today we're asking you, have you ever lost your sense of self in a relationship? Let me tell you, a lot of you here on Facebook, mukona maneno, okay? So this one says, this is Michael Gashanga, Jagi, I guess, says, I'm at that point and I don't even know what I am. Okay, and then Julie Shihafu says yes. Phyllis Marima says no. Kendi Dorina amesema yes, and not even once. they've lost their identities in different relationships, okay, or different times. And then Ben Nzalu amesema no. But again, keep sending your views and your, feedback as far as the question of the day. We'll go through them as we continue with the conversation. But Nangami, before you answer the question on how do we know that we're losing our identity, and especially as women, and Kagondo, you'll tackle the men, yeah? Let's look at this video. Yeah, William turned out to figure kelele on TikTok, and then we'll come back and she will tell us, okay? So take a listen at this.
Public service announcement. Now I have to tell you why. You're struggling to let go because you handed over power. Women are conditioned to hand over power. That is why you hand over your power so that you can be led, you can be guided, you can be told what to do. The reason why men do not struggle to leave your bam is because they did not give you any of their power. They have leverage over you. That is why for you to leave any situation, it takes you will. It takes you willpower. A woman has to struggle. She has to go back and forth before she can leave because you don't have any power anymore. And sometimes you can be in a toxic situation with someone and you tell them, I want out, I want a divorce, and they'll tell you, no, I'm not going to give it to you. And you will have to fight tooth and nail to get yourself out of it because you took power and you handed it over to them and said, teach me, lead me, guide me, tell me what to do. You literally handed over your power to them energetically and at an emotional level. And that is why you struggle to take back your power. And power is not given, power is taken. And it's taken violently. And that is why every woman who has to leave any situation that has been toxic to her, she has to do it by force. You have to do it violently. And sometimes it's going to cost you, including costing your life. Because that person is going to wonder why you want to take back the power that you had given to them, and they're not going to let it go just like that. And that is why most of them frustrate you. The moment you say you want out, they frustrate you because you had given them the power, and now you want to take that power, and power is not handed over freely. That power they're going to struggle to take, to not to give you back your power. That is the reason why you're struggling. And this is the reason why you need to get into relationships. I don't care about relationships and people, and please, people are grown-ups. You do whatever it is that you want to do in a relationship. You want to give over your power, you want to be subjugated, you want to worship, you want to do it. But you see, everything that you profess with your mouth, everything that you confess, you say, for me, I want to worship, I want to give over my power, I want is my Lord, is my... The day that it comes to bite you in the ass and you have to leave, you will realize what you are saying. Because there's no joke in the universe. There's no joke in the universe. The moment you have given someone your power and you've told them, think for me, guide me, lead me, tell me what to do, where to go, and what I will worship the ground upon. Whatever you tell me, I will follow. Wait until the time it's time for you to leave and see what people feel whenever they have power and now you want to take power from them. They will frustrate you. They will make you an example. This is the reason why you get into relationships with people, but you maintain your power. You maintain your grace. You maintain your ground. You maintain your sovereignty. You don't lose yourself. You don't hand over power. And that is why it's very difficult to subdue a woman who has stayed in her power. It's very difficult. And most people do not even want to deal with a woman who is sovereign because she has not handed over power and she will never hand over her power. It becomes difficult to reign of a person who has their own power and their own sovereignty. And that is why, as every woman, that is the place that you need to get with your power. Stick with your power. Otherwise, I told you it will cost you peace. You're going to struggle. You have people who are not supporting you financially, people who are abusing you, people who are cheating on you, and you don't know why you can't let them go. You don't know why you just cannot leave because you gave them your power. You tell them, here, that thing that you do that they teach you in these patriarchal religions, you don't know what you're doing. It's a spiritual ritual that you're doing. The next time you want to take back your power, you will cry. It is going to cost you your sanity. It is going to cost you money. It is going to, just to take back that little power that you had. It's not going to be an easy run. Okay? That's the reason why you're struggling, because you handed over power and you don't have any of it. And you're struggling to take back your power because for you to move out, it needs power, it needs grace. Okay? Public service announcement done.
Public service announcement. Hey. Nasikia ni kama nimetandikwa viboko hivi.
Oh dear.
Hey, no, but really, like when you think about it and what we're talking about today, losing our identity, is like we're sort of like somehow giving our power to someone. And if we're not careful, the people who will want to abuse that power. Hey, Nagavi, pole bas. Tumesema pole. But really, just to pick up from that. Yes! Just to pick up from that, and now talking about then, how do we know that we're losing our identity? Because sometimes we don't even know.
Yeah. So, God. Oh my God, I didn't expect that. And I think whenever you know that you're losing power is when you don't have a voice anymore.
Okay.
You see, because that's power, when you don't have a voice anymore. And even when I was saying, you see, and I just want to be honest, and I think Bishop already alluded to it, which is, I think in the society in which we live, sometimes we just have to make do with what is there. And that is why for people, and especially for women who want to be in relationships, you have to know exactly what you're walking exactly into. Which Bishop said it beautifully. There's something you will have to lose. And you need to find someone who thoroughly, and I guess for the most part, I'm single, by the way. which makes sense that in the society in which we live, maybe I have made the conclusion that I might not be able to thrive in it. In the way that I would be expected to thrive in it, because of that ability to lose some sort of my power. So it's all about trade. What are you willing to trade?
I actually hear what you're saying, because and I think this is a conversation that I've had, and I was actually having with my best friend this morning when we were coming to work, that sometimes I am scared to lose sort of like some bit of my power as not just as a woman, but also as a human being. Because it's true what you're saying, Bishop. If we're not willing to sort of like allow some parts of us to sort of like ikunjwe kidogo, ikwe eroded kidogo, we will not thrive. So I hear you when you're saying you feel you will not be able to thrive in a way that you'd want to because some sort of power from you have been taken away.
Yes.
But then again, how do we find that balance? I don't know. Kagodu probably to say at this point. And also please let us know from a man's perspective, first of all, how do they know that they're losing themselves in the relationship? And now we do our power balance. What do we do?
You know, at this point, I feel like we should be saying power. Women's power,
right?
Black power. yes, and quite insightful. And of course, it takes a lot of courage to come out and face the bull by its horn. Okay, and the thing is, when you think about identity, and more so men, it's a very interesting space to be at, and especially where one, you no longer know who you are. And I look at it from an analogy of maybe salsa dance. You know, when we participating in some salsa dance, who takes the lead? It will be the guy.
The man.
Okay, and the lady who follow, and of course the people who are outside who are watching, they may not really tell. You know, when things are messed up and when you're losing the steps and all that. And it will be the lady vis-a-vis, you know, the man who can be able to pick that something is amiss, and we need to, you know, adjust, if not correct, the steps that we are taking. And the thing is, when you think about men losing their identity, it's also good that we get to appreciate their roles, okay? And their roles will be defined by the identity, say, cultural identity, talk about career identity, talk about relationship identity, because in all these spaces, we do define ourselves in different ways. There's a way that as an African man, I'm expected to conduct myself and to take the lead, all right? When I get to the religious circle, there's a way that the man is expected to handle themselves. And you find that there could be some sort of contradiction where one party who is going to define the man in a certain way, where the other, it will define the man in the other way. And this will all be in the name of favoring their interest and what they proclaim. But the thing is, you find that the man is a provider. The man is the protector in that particular family. And when I lose myself, then you find that my family is no longer safe. You find that they're missing out on that provision aspect, all right? And you see the man who is a vision bearer, the one who is going to guide us to where we are going as a family. And I like it when Bishop was saying, he's the one to tell me what we are supposed to do. And of course, or submit. And this is where you find that we lose that at the end of the day. And I remember in my book, you know, Becoming a Man, we normally say that if you heal the man, you heal the world. And one of the ways that we can be able to heal the man and heal the world is through gaining that identity and, of course, through the self-awareness, like we are being told. And when you find that things are messed up, to start with, at the family level, we trickle down to the society, then the nation at large, then the men have lost their identity. And this is why we need to go back to the roots. You know, I think back to Jamaica and the African roots, and gain our true identity, getting to know who you are supposed to be and what you are supposed to do. And this is where you need to get yourself into some, you know, get yourself into some space where you can be real and authentic with you, whereby you're going to ask yourself those real but, you know, hurting questions, okay, the hard questions, okay, on who am I supposed to be. And this is why when you look at the direction of your family, say the kids that you're bringing up, the direction that they are taking, how they are, you know, the people that they're turning out to be, that can actually tell you whether you have lost it or you're within the right track. But though we know that there are parents who have done their best and their kids turn out to be something else. So the thing is, we can be able to tell a man who has lost the identity through the kind of a direction that the family is taking and how we tend to define him from that particular perspective.
Let me just add something to it. And I think it's very dangerous because the advice is usually out there that when someone is lonely, then the balm for it is to get into a relationship. That is the worst advice you can ever give to someone. That oh, you're lonely. Find yourself a boyfriend. Find yourself a girlfriend. Find yourself a wife, because it makes people come into relationship with a lot of baggage and a lot of expectations. Because now you're having people who are just, they were single. They were like, I need someone. I've been single for 2 years. I've been single for 1 year. So I am really looking for someone to. I'm really looking for someone to date. Number one. Number two, people don't know how to experience people. You don't know how to experience a man, you don't know how to experience a woman. Like, people come in with a lot of expectations, and it's why I say that these ideas are very lofty, but when it comes to the ground, things are being done differently, because when you come to a situation without that level of self-awareness, when you get into a relationship because you're lonely and someone hits on you, usually, especially someone who's been lonely for a really long time, and someone hits on them, usually they're like the first person that hits on them, just like, oh yeah, I went out on a date with someone. They're emotionally unavailable, they don't like but you know, it's been a while. It's been a while. And the problem is, women's eyes close whenever they are intimate. Like, the moment you sleep with a man, emotionally, most women, you have to fight it. So that is why this is a one-night stand. They're just like, who are we? What do you think? Where is this relationship going to? Where do you and you say the guy's just there to have a good time. And for men, sometimes, this is what I think, men's eyes open when they are intimate. So a man can chase you and chase you and chase you and chase you. Like, oh my God, he's been chasing me for 6 months. Then after some time, he disappears.
And you don't know why.
Why did he chase me for 6 months, then disappear? Because now, that's when he realizes, oh, I was chasing her because I just wanted to sleep with her. It's not that I was really interested. So that drive is already gone. It's already disappeared. So you see, then that becomes a particular issue for people, especially now when it comes to people losing themselves in the relationship. So if you're lonely and you get someone, you want them to be your everything now. You don't want to go out anymore. One thing I like about the gentlemen, though, I don't know, it's not all, but it's most of them, is that men don't lose themselves even in marriage. Like, when men get married, they still play their PSs, they still wear the same shirts, they still do the same things, they still have girlfriends. Even when they get married. Like, having a girlfriend does not stop a man because he's married. They still have girlfriends even when they are married. Like, they don't lose themselves. They still go out, they hang out with the boys, they do things. And then women are like, oh, I want us to spend time, attention. There's something that's, unfortunately, is not really told to most, I'm going to speak for women, it's not told to most women. There's an emotional need that men cannot feel. And you see, women are also looking for girlfriends in their men. So I want a man who, you know, when he does my hair, he does my makeup, we go shopping together. You say, go get a girlfriend. Let me tell you, this is what happened today at work. You want to go get girlfriends. Because you see, even for, I'm so sure if you have a partner and she comes in today, she has an issue, I have an issue with Winnie, you're like, oh, that's what Winnie did. Oh yeah, sorry, no. Then the next day I come, same thing. Winnie, you know, Winnie, you're just like, get over Winnie. You see, because it's exhausting. But if I come to Bishop, we can talk about Winnie for 1 year. 2 year, 2 years, we're still talking about Winnie.
Yes.
But say, I'm still mourning my 10-year relationship, and every time you're hugging me, come, it's okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
He will be like, what? You haven't gotten over that guy? Like
Get over it.
Yes, get over it. And that's why having that relationship is good. So women lose themselves most of the time in that. So they want it's women who have this crazy idea. I'm looking for a man who'll be my best friend. Go get a best friend. Go get a female best friend.
There's an observation I want to bring across. Among the Ashanti kingdom, where there are kings, the custodian of the values is never the men, although the men become the king. It is the women. Like now, my son in the Ashanti kingdom is most likely to be the next king after the king dies, not my brother's son. Why? Because they consider women to be good as custodians of values. I wanted to put this across. Women, as much as we are submissive, many at times, we are so powerful in our space.
Okay.
In this way, my husband, for instance, will not make a decision that will involve finances, will involve a major move without first consulting me.
Okay.
I may not be in the front, you know, people may not see me, but he has met partners and they want to do some business and they want to make that decision.
Okay.
And the moment I say no, he has hardship in moving forward with that decision.
Okay.
Many a times, we as women don't lose our space or value or even power just because we have lost our identity.
Okay.
For me, I don't find identity same as the power you hold. And that is in the same line as she was giving us there in the, you know, our dear sister here. You find that when a man says no to you, even your own brother, most likely he has consulted the wife.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes he can tell you, I'm going to do this thing with you. Then he develops cold feet. Just know there is female power that has intercepted the whole thing. And I know they listen to us.
They do,
because the moment you carry yourself with decorum, you listen to him, you lose your identity, not because you have lost your position, but to him, in this sense, you listen to his opinions, you listen to his discussions, you know, you are a good listener and what have you. When he's making major decisions, he will consult you. You become a consultant.
So what you're saying, Bishop, is don't try to compete in terms of who holds more power. You stay in your power, allow them to stay in your power.
We are not in competition.
Right?
But the way you carry yourself, the values you carry for the family, because you are the one who is a custodian of the values of that family. You say, you know, children must sleep at this time because he told you initially, I don't like my children staying up late. It is you now to take that initiative and say, by 9, dinner has been served. Children are ready to sleep. So you become, in your own right, the custodian of values of your family. You'll find that many times he will not even go and buy a parcel of land without consulting you. But the moment he ignores you, you have lost everything. And what have you lost? You have not only lost your identity to him, but you have no values. There are no values because men go for values. They are not interested in what identity you carry. You know, I'm this and so, I come from this family, this is my background, this is my education. No, it's the values you begin to inculcate in the family, around him. He can tell this person does not like this. And many times, the women are the ones who make decisions. Yeah.
Okay, stay in your power as a woman. I like that.
Out of experience.
No, I see that. Women will set bar hapa. Right? We'll come there. And also, Miriam, from a relationship coach point of view, because you also interact with a lot of people. Some people will also come to you. She doesn't correlation. What is that one thing that you'd say, both from men and women, make us lose our power? I know there's that desire to feel loved and be appreciated, but other than that, what is that one major thing that you've seen that makes us lose our identity as a people, either man or women?
I think it's just what we've been talking about from the very beginning. It's that lack of self-awareness.
Okay.
And secondly, like Nangami has said, the reason as to why you're getting into marriage or into that relationship, are you getting into that relationship because you're lonely? I think it's last week we were talking with you and I told you, I sat down and evaluated myself and I asked myself, what is this that had always wanted, was pushing me to just want to get into a relationship, I need to be. And with self-awareness, you come to realize, okay, I was probably looking for validation. I was probably looking for, like Nangami was saying, someone to make me feel like I'm accepted, I'm wanted, I'm not lonely, I'm not, and you actually feel like those are authentic reasons for you to want to get into a relationship. Okay. But I will tell you, those are reasons for you to get a therapist. Don't get into a relationship, don't get it twisted. A therapist has their role. A relationship, you need to be aware when you're getting into it. Okay. So most of the time, when people come for counseling, even with relationships, it's just those issues. You entered into a relationship without knowing who you are. Yeah. In the middle of the relationship, you have come to that awareness of who you are, but you really cannot show up as that person now. Yeah. And when you do show up as that person, this other person feels snookered, like, yo, this is not who I married. Who have you become? All of a sudden, niliowa paka umekuwa simba. How the heck? I mean, how do I reconcile? Yeah. And the reason that happens is because women enter, and let me speak for women because I'm a woman. You will enter into a relationship thinking, once I get in there, I'll probably be able to change. The only thing you can change is the color of your hair. My friend, you cannot change a grown man. So you will enter into a relationship thinking, I'm going to change this man, I'm going to run. And then you get there and you're in serious shock. Guess what happens? You start holding resentment and bitterness. Yeah. Now, when you have silent resentment, there is nothing this man will ever do that will meet your bar, because already ukona resentment ndani yako. But the resentment that is there is not even towards him. It's towards the betrayal within yourself. You betrayed yourself. And you betrayed yourself because you never really, like Nangami was saying, you never really held on to who you are, to the fabric of who you are, to your values. And you will realize, Winnie, let me just put this out there. Many women who end up becoming completely resentment and bitter come to this realization when they get to menopause. Women actually go through a midlife crisis between the ages of 40 and 55. That's when a woman is coming to her own. She's realizing, I was enterprising. What did I do with my enterprise, with the person that I am? I was a go-getter. I don't even recognize who I am right now. I don't even know. I liked looking a particular way. All of a sudden, even my dressing, one day you wake up in the morning and you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, who is this? Yeah. And where did I go? And most women always come to that realization. I've dealt with so many in counseling who come and they're like, I don't even know who I am anymore. Where do I begin? I don't think I like my career, whatever it is that they are doing. I don't think I like how my home front is. My kids are now grown up, so I don't feel needed anymore. At least during that period, you felt needed. I'm taking care of the kids. I'm taking care of the family. In the meantime, the man is out there doing conquests, establishing new frontiers. And you're in there all disheveled, wondering where do I begin? Who am I? Let me just finish by saying this. That's why you find many women in that age bracket. Tafuta vizuri. They're the ones who have gone abroad to visit their children and never came back. Because they just realized
No, this is not the life I wanted. Oh my days. Yeah. What I did break. Oh my days. And then when we come back from the break, we then want to understand. So then how do we stop that from happening in terms of losing our identity? Because what you're saying is very true. We've seen a lot of people years later into marriage and they start resenting their partner, start resenting themselves because they felt, I have lost myself and I have nothing else to live for. So how do we stop that from happening, okay? Before you get into another relationship, get a therapist, like you said. Yeah. But also a reminder of the question that we're asking you this morning, and that is, have you ever lost your sense of self in a relationship? Have you ever lost your sense of self in a relationship? We'll come back and read more of your feedback. Mtu hapa Otieno Masi amesema 1 million times they have lost their sense of self. So then how do you come back to self? We'll also tackle that when we come back from the break. Do stay with us. Welcome back to the show. We're officially in the last, 30 minutes of the show. And you know what, Philip, we need to have one camera just running up during the break. There's so much. There's a lot of good conversations happening behind the scenes. But today we're tackling losing your identity in a relationship. And we're trying to understand how much, does that come with in terms of the pain. Okay, and how much you stand to lose when you lose your identity in a relationship. And now we want to tackle the aspect of, so then how do we stop that from happening, okay? Or is there a possibility that I can come back to self? Or majority of the time it's almost too late when you come back to self, as far as your identity in a relationship and just finding balance. Bishop, again, like we said, 30 years, amekaa in the marriage, and she has lost bits and, parts here about herself, but she is happy. So to I think Bishop would have put here tips of what you've managed to do to still remain, self, but also allowing some parts of you to be eroded, kidogo and whatnot. But we're asking you this morning, have you ever lost your sense of self in a relationship, okay? Have you ever lost your sense of self? In a relationship? Joy Newto, this is on Facebook, who says yes, and time healed. So they allow themselves to heal, which is a good thing. And then Julie, I think we read this one, who said yes. And then Otieno Masi, I think we read this as well before we went on a break, who said on million times, okay? And then Candy Doreen says not even once. I think we also read that as well. So it's like, we have you guys lost, what have you to know, Liza, about have you guys lost your sense of self in a relationship? Kagodu, have you? Boy child, have you lost your sense of self?
I remember buying somebody some stuff back in college. Yet it was the only pocket money that you had. Yes. And through that, because you want to please somebody, you want to meet the expectations and all that. It's a good thing though. Because
I'm like, that's cute. Yes, you sacrifice.
Yes, you do. And that's how you get to, find your match. Okay. Yeah, because in their own unique way, they also came through, in a beautiful way.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so that happens. And you might lose yourself along the way, more so because as we grow, we are emerging, and different spaces, they call for different you, okay? And if you're not careful, you might miss out on the point along the way. But the thing is, as we talk about losing identity and how to come back, what I'm getting from all of us, it's very important for all to appreciate the different stages that we go through in life, okay? Because through the transitions, it requires a different you, to meet and to emerge, to present yourself, so that you can also be, in a space where you're providing the best. Because the way that we always say, when I was single, it's not the same way when I was in courtship. When I got into courtship, it's not the same way when you got the first child, or even got into marriage. The same way when somebody find themselves, the kids are they are leaving the nest, okay? It will take a different you. And this is why it's also good that we be authentic and truthful to ourselves. We be truthful, okay? Because if you don't appreciate the fact that as you go through the different stages, that a different you will emerge, then you might lose out the point, okay? Because yes, it's okay for us to make babies, okay? But it's also okay for us, it is important for us to know that this will come with a different it will expect you to bring out the best in you, and also to allow the child to experience you in a different way. When I get into this relationship with my significant other, it's not the same way as I was, when I was single. You require the other person to to experience you in the best way possible. But now, this is where the catch is. When the two are coming together to form the one, okay, it's quite dangerous when you find somebody who hasn't worked on themselves. It's very dangerous. And let me tell you, it can be overwhelming, okay? And I've seen people who literally run away, you know, from relationships because of the encounters that they have had before. And you find that somebody who is not well balanced, somebody who is not, who has lost their identity along the way, because like you're saying, Miriam, you know, for somebody who is about to join a new relationship, they need to see a therapist. It's because of the unfinished business that comes along. There's a lot of baggage, you know, along the way. And I feel this is what to make us miss out on that beautiful encounter that we might have to experience somebody who is true to themselves and who has a true identity. So the thing is, when I get to my workplace, there's a different identity. When I get into church, there's a different identity. When I'm in my family, there's a different identity. But the question is, am I able to become a better version of myself along the way?
I see that. Majority of the times we see people say, this is who I am. You need to embrace it. Either we take it or you leave it. But this is just who I am. And sometimes it's just bad manners. It's just bad things that you really need to shed off so that you don't end up affecting the other person just because this is me and you need to accept me, right? So for someone who's watching us, because even the ones that I've read, a lot of them who are like, yes, I have a million times, more than once. Is there a possibility I could read back to self? And what is it that they need to do to come back to self?
Obviously, the work is self-mastery. And I keep on going back to what Miriam said. You see, even what we're discussing here, 98% of your audience are listening to this as entertainment. They want to implement. And that's how life is. From a public speaking perspective, by the way, the reason why we can come to the same company every year, it's because we know they won't do the work. Yes, so you will invite us again to come and talk about communication. And someone else will invite you the next year to come and talk about communication and to train the staff. Communication every year. And it's still the same because it's motivational and people don't have the discipline to enforce and to do the work. So what is the work when it comes to self-mastery? It's boundaries. Things like boundaries. I mean, look at Bishop. She's youthful. She keeps on doing the work. We were even having the conversation. She was talking about she's cut back on sugar. Yada, yada. She's lost like 10 kgs. You see, that is her ability to still see herself in the relationship. I'm so sure she's doing it not for anybody else, but for herself because she is feeling the pains of not doing the work on herself. And I think obviously it comes with age, with the maturity, and also with the exposure that she does have. And also things like self-respect. People don't have respect for themselves, so it becomes very difficult for others to have respect for you. And what is self-respect, by the way? And people usually talk about value. Well, I'm high value. What do you mean? You're high value. How can you explain it? How can you explain to someone that you're valuable? If I was to meet you, Winnie, I don't have interest in dating you. So what value do you bring to me in my life if I was to meet you? Then you have to introspect and say, oh, okay, because women, for instance, only discuss the concept of value when it comes to men. And the relationship, like, oh, what value do you bring? Yeah, this is my value. Okay, you bring the value, but in the world, in the larger sense, so that it just doesn't become to this man. The way you bring the value to the man is the way you bring the value to everybody else. People have lost identities. For me, I may not have necessarily been in a relationship that I would say, I've always, for some reason, I've always had my senses, even when I was dumb, even when I was stupid. At some point, yes, I did. My esteem was eroded, my confidence, and when I built it up, I said never again. I think I was 20, 21, 22.
What happened? Me, I'm nosy. I'm like, what happened?
Never again. You said the thing of giving and giving and giving, and then at that time, I had a partner who, you know, he likes the girls who like kina unaona venye Bishop anakaa hivi very put together makeup I'm very African to the core, like this is how you see maybe the wale wenye kama miti natural forest. That's how I am. So when I was with this person, I kept on seeing that they would, you know, check out the girls on Instagram and the rest of it. So I started applying makeup. And I went and bought, I think it was Black Opal back in the day. Black Opal. I went and applied Black Opal, and the guy just came and looked at me and said, "You look horrible."
Oh God.
He said, "You look horrible. You shouldn't." I was doing it for him.
For you.
Because I wanted to look good. I wanted to look, because I was like, I see you checking out those girls who look a certain way.
Yeah.
And so obviously that was not the only thing. You can tell that I was trying in the relationship to be perhaps the caliber of women that he had always wanted. And when I exited that relationship, I was like, never again. I will maintain myself. This is to say that I understand the compromise that comes into relationship. Every one of them is different. But I'll always have my irreducible minimums. Till here and no further. You put your hands on me, I will not sit around to find out what happened. It was the devil, you were drunk. Bad day, I don't know, you are possessed. I will not be around to find out. That will be the last time. That is my irreducible minimum. It doesn't matter, you bring your mother, your father, let's us see it, I don't know, what do you want? You want your money back, I'll give you. That's my irreducible minimum. Infidelity, maybe I can, I don't know, maybe it was a one-night stand, I don't know. You see, for certain things, maybe I can compromise, but I have certain irreducible minimums for me. And then obviously, then having to understand, till here, no further, about what issues. And also the authenticity and the honesty. I was telling you just before we came back, that even as a mother, I'm a mother to a 15-year-old, and I said I'm never going to do it again. It's because as I was doing it, I came to realize that I was losing myself in it. Because then my life became work, home, child. Oh, have you picked him? I'm a cooler. When he was young, I'm a popo, near red and near black. You see, all the time, you're just concerned about the child. I can't pick up on I can't just happen. I got opportunities to go to the US, but then I'm like, oh, you know, my baby's still young. Who will I leave him with? I lost out on so many opportunities. And for me, but I'm very honest with myself. I'm selfish. I'm very selfish. I don't want to do this again. I don't want to have to go through that phase again. I love my child to bits, but I saw how much I was losing it, and I wouldn't want to do it to someone else. The same thing happens even when it comes to then a relationship. I see that I wouldn't want to prolong it and bring my bad behavior into something when I'm not healed. So having to do the work, and also having to hold grace. Grace for people as they're going through their own journeys. So finally, if you want to know that you're losing yourself, is your sense of identity is when you look at things in the relationship and you don't have original thought in it. You don't have you're almost always a supportive role. Like you're almost always, you're just I second, I agree. You don't have input. You have your own voice. You don't have input, you don't have your voice. And for me, but I'm asking the girls out there to even listen to what Bishop, like you can see when she speaks, she has an authoritative voice. So you can also know that she knows how to step her ground. She can follow, but till here no further. Where she's able to, and I think that's how she's been able to last. All that 30 years. Bishop, that's what you said. Parts of you were eroded, but it's for the good. It did not do anything bad to you. But say someone who has been in marriage for a very long time, and they're like, "Sir, I lost myself. I lost my sense of self." And I wonder, is it too late to come back to finding myself again? And what can they do as well?
What I would love to say, first and foremost, before I got into this relationship that I am in, that I call marriage, or we call marriage, and it's beautiful. I was once upon a time in a relationship that I lost my identity completely. And because the man was abusive, you know, you have to dress like this, cut your hair like this. I had some hair, you have to cut it. We are going for soccer. I did not love soccer, but I was taking him. We have to go this way. Don't talk to these people. Don't talk to so-and-so. So-and-so is not good. And I began to realize that at that young age, I may not have realized I have an identity, but I was at campus. So by far and large, something was happening to me that I did not like. And that's when I realized this is not the person I am. And I began to, you know, like remove myself from the relationship. And that was also considered bad behavior. You cannot put up, I wanted to marry you, but look at the way you are behaving. You're not listening to me. I'm told wear a trouser, I wear a dress, and so on. So I was in that kind of relationship. So I think by the time I met the person that I have, I already knew what losing myself meant.
Looks like, yes.
So as much as I followed the way she said it, it's like she read me, maybe she's a kind of prophet. I've always stood my ground. Now, I would want to say this. If you have lost yourself in a relationship in a way that you don't feel comfortable. Or maybe you have loved somebody, you are following him, let me say for women, and you feel like now where I've gotten to, I cannot take it anymore. I don't think it's too late.
Okay.
It's not too late. It's good to retrace your steps and more so look for help.
Yes.
Because we have the therapists here, we have emotional, the psychologists and the emotional intelligent people
coach.
here.
Hey.
Yes,
Hey.
that can tell you to get back your power.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter, it's never too late. You can relearn and you can retrace. Retrace your, I say, even if you are at 60, it's never too late to realize that I've been going the wrong way. You know, because it's not good to follow and lose yourself blindly. Follow a person that is a leader and a leader that respects you.
Okay.
Not a person that wants to tear you apart, that wants to erode your identity in a negative way or cause you to be emotionally dependent on them. You know, because some of them want to be emotionally dependent on them. When they are happy, then you can be happy. When I'm not happy, then you're supposed to be sad. You know, controlling your environment in such a way that you feel enslaved in a relationship. I think it's not too late. You can still go back, but with help. Because also to teach an old dog new tricks is hard.
difficult.
But you can check yourself to a therapist. You can check yourself to a psychologist. Tell them, please help me, or come to me. I will pray for you. You know, and cast out those demons because they are demons in a way. And find yourself again. Because it will be so boring living a life that is not you. You know, the rest of your life. I know sometimes we lose ourselves just a bit, but you must know how to navigate your place
and come back
in time.
Okay.
Because that's what I've always done. Because there's that time you are so in love that when you are being told, do this, do that, you are yes. But when I call myself to a meeting, and I do that a lot, what we called self-audit.
Yes.
Now I agree with her, what she said last time, self-auditing yourself all the time. When things are not right and I'm following blindly, I normally call myself to check. And I have to correct everything and say, I don't think this was right. Let's do this. And remove the fear of speaking up. Remove the fear. Be you. Be authentic. Say, this is what I feel about this whole situation. And I can't go on this way. Can we go back and do this or do things this way? And if the person knows you and has been with you and can listen, then they will follow what you have said and help
and
you
understand
out
your needs
of where you had gone.
I see that.
Because
Thanks,
this life Nikus idea.
Very beautifully said. Thanks, Bishop. And Miriam, even as we look at coming back to self, and it's not too late, what Bishop is saying, what is it that you'd also want people to avoid doing in the name of coming back to self? Okay. Because, and also when it comes to boundaries, how early should we communicate that in a relationship? Because again, like I think it's you, Nangami, who said that when we're getting into a new relationship, we want to put our best foot forward and show that we are perfect. But really, there's some things that we might not agree with, but because we want to impress you, we just follow. So what is that mistake?
That's a really, really good question. I think from the very beginning, just don't put your best foot forward. Put them as they are. If you have two left feet, dance with them like that and step on your partner, you know, because at least your person will know,
they will know.
This is what I am getting into. It's not a cheap sales gimmick. Because even when you're buying something in the supermarket and then, you know, it has been hyped. It has been hyped. The other day, I was sold for a Bluetooth speaker that you can shower with. You put it on the wall and even water pours on it. And I was so excited for it. Not because I didn't have another one, but I'm like, oh, this one you can stick on the wall. It's nice. Nothing. Whatever they said, nothing. In fact, even the thing did not work. I charged it for over 24 hours. It didn't work. So I've been sold something. And in fact, what was more disappointing is because of how I had imagined how it will work and
Showers,
how it will be so good, the sound. It didn't work.
No.
So don't give cheap sales gimmick. Present yourself the way you are.
Okay.
This is the way I am. This is who I show up as, you know. Of course, being human, meaning that you have proper human etiquette. you have empathy, you have the values you are of a human being. We're not saying now go the extra mile, and even when you're in public, you chew like, you know, just
because this is who I am.
Proper human etiquette, not presenting bad manners.
All right.
And as I wind up, let me just say, for me, I have been lost in a relationship. But I think it's the best thing that ever happened to me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because question is, did I even have myself before that? Ooh. So I'm so grateful for that relationship, because it's in that relationship of losing myself, I woke up. I woke up from, I don't know how many years I'd been sleeping, but I woke up and I was like, yani,
who was that?
Kichwa inauma, tumbo inauma, haujui ni wapi, because this, you know, you've gone round, you know. And it woke me up to be the woman that I am right now. And I'm so grateful. It's good even when, you know, the word of God, when what the enemy meant for evil turned around and worked out for good. For me, I'm like, it worked out for my good, because it's from there that I emerged to be this person that I am. Okay. So I became the caterpillar in the whatever. I melted, nikaisha. Hata sijui niko na nini, nikamelt, nikaisha. And I came out as a beautiful butterfly. Yeah. So even the word of God says, for a seed to come out as a new plant, it must die. So sometimes it's not bad to lose yourself, to reinvent yourself.
Okay.
But only if you're aware. So as I conclude, I'll say, be aware. Be aware. Because even Bishop said, in the last relationship she was, she knew, she was honest with herself. She's like, this is not me. But why was she honest with herself? She was aware.
Yes.
So be aware. Who am I in this relationship? And who am I becoming? And am I willing to become that person?
I see that. So listen, we have like 2 minutes, you know, before we have to say goodbye. But what is that one thing that you'd want people to get out of this conversation with, as far as understanding self, not losing identity, but also standing, you know, on business, that this is who I am, this is what I bring to the table, or other people say that I am the table. Okay. As far as not losing your identity, I know we talked about it's not too late and whatnot, but what is that one thing that, how everything else, like Nangami said, some people watch for entertainment, okay? But what is that one thing that you'd want them to leave the conversation with? It wasn't a boy child. Boy child. Okay, you've been nominated.
You need to protect the boy child. Yes, and to me, who are you before the world told you who you are supposed to be? And that is true identity. And as much as you have lost yourself along the way, it serves as a reminder of where you are and who you are. And if that can be, then you can actually become a better version of yourself. Yes.
Thanks.
For me, I think I'm just going to add on to what he said. Deconstruct everything that you have been told you are. And not in a bad light, but from what religion told you, from what culture told you, from what your parents told you. Strip off. They told you behave this, do that, that, and the third, and then figure out at the core, who are you? And then be authentic, be bold, be audacious. And I might say there are certain places where you just have to rebel and say, no, I'm not doing this. Be rebellious, be unconventional. That's the only way anyway. Me, I'm for Bilio Diabo. Be a Bilio Diabo like this. Bad girls. You get the color office. You be the world will adjust. It always does.
You will find you. The right people will find you.
Your tribe will find you.
I like that.
Yes.
Bishop, I also want you to speak to the churches or religious who tell people you know, it's all right, Bishop, churches, well on a better can't go your marriage even if it's toxic. What do you say?
What I would want to say is that I think let's be guided by the word of God. I'm guided by the word of God. I find my identity in Him, because in the flesh I would want to be so many things, but I'm streamlined by what the word says and what the word directs me to be. And that is the same thing that has kept me in the relationship for that long, the grace of God.
Everything they've said is beautiful, and I'll just add on something small. Remain self-aware. Find your in that self-awareness. First, find yourself. Find yourself in your minimums, your bare minimums, your values. be comfortable after you find yourself, be comfortable with who you are. That even as I get into a relationship, I am not getting to be wayloaded or changed. I'm getting in knowing that, of course, I will compromise. We'll work together with this person. It's a give and take. The give I give, you know. But these are my bare minimums. This is who I am. But you can only have bare minimums. You can only become who you want to be by being self-aware. Yeah. And in self-awareness, it's where you realize I actually can't do this on my own. I need help.
I need help.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, tumesikia, tumeambiwa, tumetandikwa viboko, but we've learned, okay? So for those of us who are watching us and thinking it's too late, it is not too late. You can always find yourself. But hey, if you have more questions and you want to, direct them to our panelists this morning, reach out to us on our WhatsApp number 0112 500 400. I promise we'll forward to the right people, okay? And they will answer all your questions. But for now, allow us to say thank you. Thank you for staying with us, but also special thanks to you guys for coming by today. We are learning, we are unlearning, we are relearning, we are doing all the that needs to be done as far as understanding who we are at the core, so that when you get into your next relationship, you know yourself better, okay? Well, have yourselves a lovely day. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place, right here on Your World on Wellness Wednesday. But until then, stay true to who you are. Goodbye for now.